Yo, what is up? It is currently the end of the week, and I'm just going to go over my data and what I plan to improve on, and some things that I've noticed and potentially am planning. So let's get right into what happened today. So let's just talk about the amount of frying your brain is a term that I want to use when it comes to cold calling. And what I mean by that is if you don't have any good conversations or you're just dialing and it's no, 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 it could get quite tough on the mental capacity. And you just got to stay strong. And today was one of those days where I needed to stay strong because I was dialing for about 4 to 5 hours and it was just consistently no. And then around like 1:30 p.m., I decided I was planning to give up, but then I was like, no, I'm gonna keep going until 4 or until I get one good conversation. And so at 2 o'clock, I finally got a good conversation, and we went through the entire process, so motivation, condition, time, and price. And then I also tried like negotiating price, and he didn't want to do that. He was adamant on his price. So I'm like, all right, no worries. Let me just collect all this data, go back to the underwriting team, and see what we can do. And so that was a potentially good lead. But I was, I was pretty proud I didn't give up, and I was just going to keep going until either 4 or at least one good opportunity. So going straight into the data here for the week. This was the data for the week. I had one off day because I had to go to the dentist, but then all the other days, I think I'm trying to average at least 4,000 calls made per day, or like 100 total connects. I think that's a good standard. But this really depends on the list as well, which I'll get into in a bit. So this is my data here. I'm not sure what the exact amount is for total opportunities generated, but I count opportunities as even like a follow-up in the future, which I might segment in the future. Maybe like a hot opportunity and a cold opportunity just to see how many opportunities I'm actually really generating. And yeah, so this is the results for this week. Obviously today was not good. 42 connects and only one opportunity generated. So this list that I just created here, vacancy, has not been doing well. And so that kind of leads me into my next point now. The two things I have found as a bottleneck and I need to improve on. And the first thing is creating lists, better lists, and creating better data. So what this means is if you're cold calling or text blasting, any of that sort, obviously the better quality your list is, the higher connect rate you're going to get, and the more conversations with good connects that you will have. And so I'm trying to figure out how to produce these high quality lists, but I know it's going to cost money. But I want to figure out like how do I do it properly as well. There's a lot of different methods, a lot of different strategies, and I still have to figure that out. And if I don't figure it out, I'm just going to continue like hammering and not hammering with the proper skills. So that's a huge thing when it comes to cold calling is talking to the right people. If you're not talking to the right people, it's completely draining. It's just, hey, is this the right person? No, wrong number, and then no, wrong number, and then blah, 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 and it's quite mentally draining. So that's something that I got to work on is the list building. And then the second thing is figuring out how to properly give offers. So I'm at a stage right now where I am combining like first call, comping, and trying to give offers at the same time. But I'm also trying, hey, let me just collect all this information and then I'll give you another call with an offer once I do all the underwriting and comping. And I'm in the process now of trying to figure out the best way to do that second call, the offer call. And that right now is something that I want to work on. So those two things are something that I will be focusing on this weekend. And the next thing is also understanding how to leverage things better. So for example, if I just spent money, maybe $1,000 per month for SMS and potentially just hiring a cold caller, this will probably free up my time and energy and bandwidth so I can just focus on like the offer section or acquisition or closing section. And I'm going to potentially look into that. But another thing that I'm also going to consider and look into is a one-on-one mentorship. So right now I'm at a stage where I know I want to get good at this. And so I'm at a point where I'm just thinking about looking into a mentorship, just to have that one-on-one guidance, somebody who's already done this and I'm willing to pay for it. And so I just don't waste time and I know the exact steps on potentially what to do. So that's something that I'm also considering. But I am pretty proud of cold calling right now, just because it's allowing me to learn this at a really rapid pace, kind of like throwing yourself in the deep end and then learning how to swim. So I believe that's what cold calling is giving me, and it's quite hard. So if it's quite hard and I can somehow figure out this process, then it'll probably become easy, and I can then teach it to others and go from there. But yeah, I'm considering other ways of marketing right now, and obviously marketing requires dollars, so just trying to figure out all that out. And that is basically my week. I just wanted to say that cold calling is difficult. So if you're doing that, um, kudos to you. And yeah, if you're cold calling, I wish you best of luck. But if you aren't, I still wish you best of luck. So wherever you are, have a great day with good fortune. Peace.